Hello?
Thank you for calling 1-800-MEAT-NOW, where your meat is delivered hot and fresh. No matter where you are.
Okay.
Meat. Hot meat. Meatnow.com.
That's gross.
Oh,
I hope that picks up enough where you can actually keep that in the episode, because I like, that's gross.
Woo.
So I saw some news, or an article, right before we started recording this episode.
Okay.
So, apparently, Michael Rosenbaum turned down a role in Suicide Squad.
Interesting.
He said that he had to have neck surgeries. He couldn't do it, basically. But this just feels like another fucking thing where Rosenbaum, why are you making these choices?
Yeah, he begs James Gunn to cast him on his show
all the time.
Yeah.
He talks about this stuff all the time, how his career's not what he wants it to be, and this and that, and then he makes these weird decisions. I'm sure that whatever the role was, he was talking about jeopardizing his neck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless doctors were specifically telling him not to, which I could see being a thing.
Sure.
But it sounds like he was just worried about it.
Yeah.
And they have stunt doubles and stuff. I don't think that's... the studio's not going to jeopardize you either.
Man,
especially a big studio.
That's very surprising from him. You'd think he would, just... Not just. I don't want to minimize if he's going through pain or something like that. But if he has
to have surgery, it's clearly a big deal. It's a problem.
Yeah. It's just the timing is just awful.
It's just weird. It's when the Smallville thing happened as well, or not Smallville, the Crisis on Infinite Earths Smallville return thing.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm here visiting my grandfather or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, I don't want to, no. It's not enough money no. I'm like, what? You're making such weird choices for someone who's not that established.
True. Most people don't know him aside from that role, outside of that role, I should say. At one point, he was trying to distance himself from the genre altogether.
Right, which I totally get. If that was his main reason for turning it down, okay, but then Suicide Squad as well, and then he was in Guardians and he wants to do more.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, Guardians was uncredited. I think it was just his voice for a couple seconds.
He was in it.
Yeah, he was in it, but I thought it was just one of those things where it was his name wasn't in the credits and
no, James Gunn specifically told him, he talked about this on his podcast, that he had future plans for them.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, respect to him if he's being honest about it, and I hope that's the case. But it is kind of bad timing. It's just so weird. 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
And then James Gunn joked about it. That's where I saw it on Twitter, saying that he turned down the role of Harley Quinn. Was the joke that James Gunn made.
James Gunn.
It's just weird. I don't understand. We've talked about this before, with no disrespect to Rosenbaum, but it's very confusing.
It is very confusing. I wonder if one day, speaking of James Gunn, if we're ever going to find out what all these various Easter eggs are that he's got hidden. He just
revealed that someone got a part of it.
Oh, really?
I think it was that some sort of the films are a love letter from. Or the sound, I can't remember what it was. He was talking about it on Twitter.
Okay.
They found something. I guess it was a part of that last Easter egg or whatever.
Oh.
So someone unlocked a portion of that, but not all of it, is what he was saying. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of bullshit.
It does. It sounds like he's just stringing us along to keep watching. And you know what? I'm on board.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not complaining.
He's getting me. He said something during the watch-along, because, they've been having these quarantine watch-alongs on Twitter over the past few weeks. He was joining in on a discussion about Guardians 2, where some fans were saying, hey, give us a little something. And he was like, okay, I'll tell you this. There's a part in the movie where you see skulls, and there's some Easter eggs hidden amongst those skulls.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing has come of that yet, but you better believe it's going to be on comicbook.com once somebody does figure it out.
Yeah, I love that, though, that he's such a nerd, that he's put so many things, because people are still finding things.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's just really cool. But yeah, that was weird. I just wanted to bring that up since we've discussed it before.
Rosenbaum, we love you, man.
Yeah.
We want you to
I
succeed.
know. I want to see you in things. That's the part that's like frustrating for me.
Yeah.
As a fan.
Right. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Be a pal. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This is Lex and Matt's Excellent Adventure. I'm Matt Peters.
I'm Lex Lutz.
Hi,
Yeah.
Lex.
Yeah. How's it going, bud?
Yeah, it's going. You know.
It's going. Yeah.
Let's talk about
before we get into a little housekeeping stuff.
Housekeeping.
We've got patreon.com/LexandMatt. There's another exclusive episode for April that is just dropped. Probably by the time you're listening to this, it's already out. If not, it'll be out very soon. We talk about our top 5 favorite film soundtracks and scores.
That's right.
So, and Dee joins us, and it's super fun and funny. So go check out our Patreon to get into that. And we've got stickers, we've got merch, all kinds of stuff. It's a great way to support the show. If you also could rate, review, and subscribe, that's a huge deal for us. Take the time, especially right now. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing right now? Nothing. You do nothing. I'm just kidding. Maybe you're stressed as fuck dealing with your kids. Maybe you're dealing with work at home. Maybe you're just trying to keep it together. But you know what? Take 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. Write that review for us. We'd appreciate it. You'd be a sweet chili baby for life. Love you for it.
I wasn't gonna insist, but since Lex did, I mean, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, straight up. Come on, give us some love over there on the on the iTunes and your Spotify's and your Stitchers. I don't know if those last two even have rating systems. All I know is
you can subscribe to them, but I don't know about rating systems.
That's true. Find us on all the socials at Lex and Matt, and we'll love you for it. We love you already. We want to love you more. So come on.
Yeah.
So, as is our tradition, I'll give you an update on what Dee is playing while we're recording.
Good.
I'm currently watching her finish someone in Mortal Kombat 11. This game is bonkers, man.
I've never played it.
Oh man, so
I've played like old Mortal Kombat games, but nothing recent.
Yeah, they've really turned up the gore. It's like you're watching something on Shudder the whole time, and it's just nasty. Like, they even get down to the point where if someone is like an alien and they've got green blood, when you're destroying them, green blood just erupts from their body. So every one of these games has DLC. They have like bonus characters or whatever. And I love the Mortal Kombat games, so I always get like, the special edition and I get the bonus characters and all that. This one has some oddballs. So it's got characters from Mortal Kombat games that weren't in the original version. It's got Sindel.
I always like the ice one. Who's that?
Sub-Zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. They've got a good story.
Because he's like Iceman.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked him.
Yeah, and he's got all kind of cool ice moves now. Haha. He can slide across the floor to kick you. He can make an ice duplicate of himself that freezes you on impact. Just all kind of cool stuff, man. But yeah, besides that, they've got your regular characters in there. They've got Raiden. They've got Johnny Cage. And for the past 3 Mortal Kombat games, they've been trying to make it into a cohesive story as well. So there's a lot of time travel involved. There's a lot of exposition.
Okay.
But just for kicks, they decided to throw in 2 extra characters that have nothing to do with Mortal Kombat, but are a ton of fun to play. Spawn, from the Image comic, voiced by Keith David, is in this game.
Okay.
And the Terminator, the T-800, voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is also in this game.
What?
It's weird.
To quote Mark Wahlberg, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude. It makes no sense at all. But you know what? They made it work. They wove him into the continuity of this game. Oh.
What are you talking about?
And the Joker.
What? What? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So what's great about the Joker, and then we'll move on, I swear. What's great about the Joker in this game is they previously had him in the Mortal Kombat versus DC games.
Mm-hmm.
They had him in Injustice. But even those games previously...
That was actually the last Mortal Kombat game that I played, now that I'm remembering.
Okay.
The DC versus Mortal Kombat one.
So you remember it was violent, but it wasn't like gory.
Yeah,
There's a distinct
Chris and I
difference
played
there.
that. It was fun.
Yeah, so even if something was going to be gory, they would kind of cut away. They would shy away from it. They don't shy away from the Joker stuff in this game. There's a fatality where the Joker takes a boxing glove, punches it through your chest, puts a wind-up box in there, and Pop Goes the Weasel plays, and your head decapitates from your body on top of this spring-loaded device. It's
Fun!
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, good times. I hope I appropriately painted that gory picture for everyone. Yeah, man, it's a wild game, but it's a fun distraction.
Yeah, it's weird because fighting games, like, they're not a story usually.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't pick them up, especially when they're higher in price.
Yeah.
The same with, like, sports games and everything like that. I struggle with paying that much for them. I mean, I struggle with paying that much for any video game, really. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
Well, I'm with you on the sports games because it seems like, you're buying a license. You're buying an annual license. $60 gets you a year of having this game being relevant until the next one comes out.
And it used to be they would be, like, really cheap, way, like right after the newest one dropped. Last year's model would be super cheap, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do that as much anymore, I've noticed. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
they hold their value longer.
They
and
do.
I think it's because lots of people have figured that out, and they're like, I'll wait 2 years or whatever. It'll be the same, pretty much.
Yeah, and there's a big thing about how long the servers are going to stay up.
Yeah.
People want to know that from jump. Like, all right, so how long are you going to support online play for games like this before you decide to pull the plug?
Yeah.
Now, NetherRealm is good about that with Mortal Kombat. All the fighting game, releases are pretty good about that because they're not annual usually. But the
Right.
sports games, you get like a year and a half, and you're done. That's it. You got to buy
Right.
the newer version. And of course, everyone was up in arms because when the latest WWE release, which is adjacent to sports, came out, that game was broken to high hell. So much so that they canceled the release for the first time in a long time. That's supposed to come out this year. Of course, they blamed it on the quarantine and what's going on in the world. But yeah, that last version sold like just nothing. It was hot garbage. And yeah, they got to keep the servers going for a little while longer.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the right move, though. It's what you have to do, especially when you're charging so much for video games nowadays.
Right.
If you're going to have online play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an investment, really. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of stuff to do, what have you been watching lately?
Mad Men.
Mad Men. What made you circle back to that?
Listen, I've watched an upsetting amount of Mad Men to the point where I'm almost done with Mad Men.
Could you even...
It's been like my anxiety show where
Okay.
I'm like, let me just wake up and turn on Mad Men, and then I will basically stop when I need to do other shit that I have to get done today. And then watch more Mad Men, kind of thing. So yeah, been watching a lot of Mad Men.
I think that's when I started watching the show too. I was going through some very anxiety-ridden times at my
Good
job.
for that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really good. I'm nervous about what I'm gonna do when I'm done with it, because I'm gonna need a new anxiety show.
Breaking Bad, maybe?
Sometimes that show can give me anxiety, so
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'll figure it out. But that's not an actual problem. That's not a problem. But yeah, so I've been watching Mad Men. What made me circle back to it? I just really wanted to get lost in a different world and a story. And Game of Thrones fucking sucks at the end. so I couldn't do that again. And I don't know if I'll ever. That's a really upsetting thing. I don't know if I'll be able to rewatch that show.
Man.
But whatever. That aside, like, so maybe I should to see how I feel about it. Now it's been a year out.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know how to deal with Game of Thrones. Like, that's a show that I would get invested in the world or whatever. But like, Mad Men is such a different time that it feels like another universe, and the characters are so complex, and there's so many little things that are there that you don't necessarily notice the first time you watch it, kind of deal. It's a show that you really benefit from a rewatch.
That's a good point.
It's very well done.
That's a good point. I've been meaning to rewatch that, but it just never really comes up. It hasn't come up yet. I'm going to. It's not even just like, it's just okay. I loved Mad Men when it was on the air.
Same.
I'm thinking about going back to Fargo because I checked out on that.
Yeah.
After the
I did the
first
same
season.
thing.
Yeah.
The first season was so good, and then the second season, it just dropped for me. I know most people don't agree with that, but I had a hard time with it.
Yeah. And even on top of that, I heard that the seasons after got even better.
Yeah, I've heard great things about all of that show.
Yeah. So I gotta give it another shot. I think that the wait between season 1 being available on Hulu and season 2 kind of killed it for me, because I would always watch it on Hulu and it would go, season 2 available now, and it's like, all right, season 2 just wrapped up, so by the time I finish season 1 on Hulu, season 2 should be here. They're showing me footage from it. Nope. It was like another year and a half before it showed up on Hulu, and by then I was like, okay.
Yeah, speaking of like Hulu and shows, I did watch Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh,
that
yeah.
week-to-week show. It's done now, so you can go watch all of it.
Good.
But damn, that show was good.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of it, and I agree with you. It is really fantastic.
So you get a few episodes in, and they have a flashback from when Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington's characters are both young women.
Mm-hmm.
And the casting is... They need to win all the Emmys for the show. They cast these young actresses and actors to play these younger versions, and particularly the actress who plays Kerry Washington's character when she's young, she gets her cadence, every movement of her face, every little thing captures her perfectly, and not in an impression way, but in she just is her. It's insane. It's some of the best acting I've seen in a very long time. Yeah, that show is really good. The only thing that I don't like about that show, and this is not something that the show can control at all, is people immediately going, this person's right, this person's wrong.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I feel like, and I'd be curious to hear what anyone else thinks about it if they've seen it. I feel like the show is ultimately about how all of these women are kind of bad mothers in their own ways.
Okay.
And like, that's the point. Like that's, and they're also good mothers in other ways. And there's certain, and then I think there are some assertions made that I don't necessarily agree with, but that's good. Like, I want to talk about it in more detail, and we can on the show here if you guys end up watching all of it, because I do think it brings up some things where I'm like, I don't know about that. And then I question, should I agree? Should I disagree? I think it's a very interesting story, and I think there are a lot of, like, I could see why people would go, this is a book club, because it's based on the book.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't read the book, but I could see why people would be like, yeah, let's make this a book club thing, because there's a lot of complexity to it.
There is a lot of complexity, and it may just be me spoiled as a viewer, but seeing Reese Witherspoon in this project, I didn't expect for her to be a one-dimensional character. So, yeah, first she can come off...
In my opinion. Oh my god. Yeah.
She can come off very bristly, and she does that well, in her various roles. But seeing her opposite Kerry Washington so far has been a treat. Just seeing their interactions and just... I
think Reese Witherspoon is being incredibly brave in the choices that she's making.
Yeah.
Because between Big Little Lies and this, I think that she's picking like white women who really suck.
She's picking projects that just have the word little in the title. That's
yes.
her.
No, she's like she's producing these projects as well. She's not she's got a production company. It's like really successful. And it's done other things as well. But like, so she's making these projects, and I feel like she's picking these characters because she is like that America's sweetheart type of person and persona. It's all the more powerful that she's picking these roles and kind of going, hey, look, we're really shitty about race. We're really shitty about our wealth. We're, and our privilege and everything like that. I think it's fascinating to see her taking on these roles.
Same. So I can't wait to watch the rest of it.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that. Cool. I shared this with you, and really it just depends on the day of the week, I guess. The Office is back in rotation for me, because, I love it. I think we even talked about that last episode a little bit, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But yeah, it's just great to add that little normalcy, back to the day, working from home and everything. It's weird. Like, I work in that type of environment, so just being able to just hear the sounds of their office and everything, it's almost calming in a way. It's just surreal, strange.
Yeah, that is an odd thing where you're like, hey, this is a comfort of everyday mundane.
Yeah, like these are people.
That whole show is mundane and finding the humor in it.
Right, like these are people I wish I worked with. They're characters. I love them.
Yeah.
Can't say the same usually about your day job, but no, they're good people. They're cool. What else?
They're not listening, bud. Who cares?
No, they're probably not. I watched Frozen 2. That happened. That was a thing. That was okay. I'm glad I didn't.
seen it yet.
Yeah. Okay. We talked about Schitt's Creek. I'm just going down my list here. Twilight Zone. We talked about that. Was really good. And I finished Hunters as well. That show on Amazon
I haven't
Prime.
finished it, but I thought the first couple episodes were pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not one that was like, I need to watch the next episode.
Yeah, but having seen the whole thing now, I can tell you there's a lot of good stuff there. It kind of breaks free of the mold of being a Quentin Tarantino parody after a while. Like it understands, like, okay, this got people in the door. Now we're going to give you some story to kind of like dig your teeth into.
Okay.
And it does a great job of that. And it's got some weird surprises along the way as well that I won't spoil for you, but it's worth digging into, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So next up for me, there's a movie I've always wanted to watch and I never really got a chance to go back and check out. Big Eyes. Have you seen that?
No, but I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, I remember seeing the ads for it and it kind of fascinated me, but it was one of those movies that just never like made itself available to me because it was one of those like award season type films, and I was like, all right, well, I'll get this when it comes out on DVD, and then it just never did. Like, it never like was available widely, strangely. I don't know. Yeah, like it's not. I totally hear what you're saying, because some of those indie films get that way. It's just weird, or art house, whatever you want to call them. So yeah. Just trying to find stuff to watch, keep the day going. I started watching a cartoon called Midnight Gospel, which is made by the same guy that did Adventure Time, Pendleton Ward. But this is kind of unique in the way that it's set up. So it does have like an overarching storyline, but it's about this kid who goes around in all these virtual worlds, and he almost interviews people. He has like a podcast conversation with them while the adventure is happening. And it's the first episode is Dr. Drew, so I kind of tuned out on that because I'm not really a big fan of his at this point.
Yeah, isn't he like not even a doctor? Isn't
No,
one of those. It's not a doctor, or am I thinking of someone else?
No, you're right. He's been saying a lot of weird stuff on TV lately.
Yeah.
But the main guy, the main character, is voiced by Duncan Trussell, and I think that's why they made it more of a podcasty sort of thing, because that's his whole jam. So yeah, it's interesting. I want to check more of it out before I give a final thought on it. But if you're expecting Adventure Time or something of that ilk, it's got a similar art style, but it's not Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that new show that's coming out on Apple Plus. Oh, Apple Plus TV shows, speaking of. I watched Defending Jacob is the new Chris Evans show on Apple
Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah,
And there's
you said,
3 episodes out, and it's interesting. It's a really interesting show. I like it. I went through all 3 of them. I didn't stop watching it when I started it. And I wanted to watch the entire series basically, like in one sitting kind of thing, or almost. But like they do week to week. They release a couple episodes and they do week to week. I don't know why, but that's what their platform is that they're doing. I know why Hulu does it, because they sell ads, and they're trying to be like take over for cable kind of thing. So I understand why Hulu does week to week. I have no clue why a service like Apple TV would.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. You know, with Peacock on the horizon and HBO Max, Apple TV is going to have to do something to really set itself apart from those services, because I barely see Apple TV advertised at this point.
Yeah.
I know they came out the gate pretty strong, but now it's like, it's there. It's just
I think they're just
app.
going to end up merging with one of these other ones, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll probably, merge with HBO or something like that and do that, throw their content on there. I just have a hard time believing that all of these services will survive on their own. But yeah, Defending Jacob is interesting. But the thing that made me think of it was they have a show coming out animated. It's coming out next month. It's called Central Park. And it's from the creators of Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yeah.
So it has that same feel, but like it's different. And I'm very curious about that one.
Okay. Yeah, that's next month, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might wait until next month to use like a free trial or something like that then.
Yeah, they gave me a year because I had to upgrade my phone. So they gave me Apple TV for free.
Yeah. I was gonna do the phone upgrade. We were talking about that a little bit too, but I saw that the newest phone may be delayed until like later on this year than normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm kind of playing it by ear because I don't want to have FOMO. But
yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, and I was seeing something about like I just saw a headline that was saying like they think China's going to be back to normal in September.
Shit.
So I don't know.
Yeah. What is normal, man? What the fuck is even normal anymore?
I don't know.
Speaking of abnormal, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage.
We love us some Nicolas Cage. We did one of our mini episodes talking about our favorite Nicolas Cage movies. And one of the things that comes up a lot with Nicolas Cage is his storied love affair with all things Superman. So much so that he named his own son Kal-El. So I found this article and I wanted to share it with everybody. Nicolas Cage's Superman comic nets record $2.1 million at auction. This is from 2011. The actor's fabled copy of Action Comics #1, which was stolen from his house in 2000 and found in a storage locker in April, sells for $2,161,000.
I mean, that's nuts. And it's 2011. I wonder if it's still worth that.
Yeah. I mean, at one point, when Wizard Magazine was coming out, you'd kind of just like go and see in the back of the book, how much is Action Comics going for?
That's
like
what how much is that? That's what I'm looking up now to see how much is Action Comics #1 worth.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like around this time, around the early, the 2010s.
Shit.
How much? What?
In 2014, a copy sold for $3.21 million.
Jesus.
So it went up even further.
So that means everybody who owns an old house, you need to go bash open the walls and see if there's any comic books lining those walls. I don't think we're going
to find any more of those. I think we've hit that.
We've exhausted our supply of Action Comics in this world.
Well, it's from 1938.
Yeah, it's had to disintegrated by now, right? Like just.
Yeah. I think the big thing is like a lot of your grandparents that would have had it, like they've died.
Yeah.
In 38, like so you've already gone through their house, so someone already threw it out, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna you're gonna stumble across any more of those.
But it was weird. Like in the 2010s, it seems like every other week there was a story about somebody finding a copy of it in their wall in their home or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's because that was when they were dying. Like, I mean, it's terrible, but I think that's when that generation was dying, and people were going through their homes for the first time, and that's why all of a sudden you're like, God, they found a whole bunch of these fucking comics that are worth a lot of money, and now like they're dead. You've already gone through a lot of these estates or whatever, and so now I'm like, no, that's gonna equal out. You know, you'll find it with other things, I'm sure, but.
Yeah, just cleaning out their houses and just, I'm going to miss Grandma so much. Punch! And you just punch the wall. What's that? Superman? Huh.
Why is this in the wall? Oh, there's my little brother. Oh, no. I had a little brother. I forgot about that.
Oh, shit. This just keeps getting darker and darker. I love it. Yeah, so Nick Cage is Nick Cage, man. We watched...
sell all of that to pay for taxes or something like that.
Yeah, poor guy. We watched Face Off the other day, and boy howdy.
Voluntarily?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, the entirety of Face Off is just occupied by asking questions about how this worked. Like, so his wife didn't notice? Moles were in the wrong place? The good loving was a little different? Things were, you know...
that is just a bonkers movie.
It's a miracle it got made, and you know, thank goodness, because it was a warning to other films. I need to
listen to the How Did This Get Made on that again.
Yeah, because it's out there. So yeah, Nicolas Cage, we love you, man. Yeah.
Our show.
That's our show.
You got nothing going on right now, bud. You can't make 20 movies right now in this quarantine. You'd normally be making about 20 movies right now.
That's true. True. He was doing some like foreign films, and when I say foreign films, I don't mean like, you know, in another language, but like just produced by like Chinese film companies, and,
right, or Canadian or what? Yeah.
And he was making bank doing that. They would get wide releases, and then just, you know, the next month there'd be another one.
Right, so, like nobody in America would watch them, but they'd make their money.
Yeah. Like straight to DVD just isn't a thing anymore. It's so weird. Like it's coming out big somewhere, whether on demand or in a theater. It's going to get in some people's eyeballs.
Yeah, it is, and it is fascinating that straight to DVD is not as big of a thing anymore. But they still make straight to DVD movies.
They do,
but they just make them as like B movies on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
So I read a weird thing, and I want to know if you knew about this.
I'm ready.
That Dolly Parton's production company was a part of producing Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You know what I didn't know before this week, and that this article just started making the rounds. It's incredible. Yeah,
so Dolly Parton and her business partner Sandy Gallen, they co-founded this Sand Dollar, which by the way is the cutest. Dolly and Sandy made Sand Dollar.
It's a great name.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Sand Dollar Entertainment in 1986. So they produced, and I didn't know this either, they produced like Father of the Bride.
Holy shit.
And they produced the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. And then were a part of like making Buffy. Like, and basically it says that if Parton, if Parton is upset about her lack of recognition, she doesn't seem to show it. In fact, in 2016 New York Times profile, Berman, which is, so like Dolly Parton was behind the scenes, and Gail Berman, who's a Sand Dollar executive, was like fighting for the show. She was working for this company that Dolly Parton had started, and she was fighting to get this show on the air. And Dolly Parton is not credited as a like producer or anything like that, whereas Gallen and Berman both are for both Buffy and Angel. So it said that Berman revealed that that Parton once wrote her a check when she learned that the, quote, men at the company had given Miss Berman less than a generous share of Buffy royalties.
Wow.
So, like, she did not care about being this uncredited executive producer on it and literally wrote a check to make sure this other producer got paid for it.
There will never be another woman like Dolly Parton.
No, never.
There will never be another person like Dolly Parton. She is so generous and just so selfless in everything
on
she
Hulu
does.
Said it. That might be the post Mad Men show. Sorry, continue.
That's a good choice. That is a fine choice.
Might be. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, just, I am never devoid of reasons to appreciate Dolly Parton.
I just find it fascinating that she was a part of this production company and we didn't know that that this was a part of her production company and that she was essentially an executive producer because she was behind the scenes helping to get these things made.
Yeah.
And
incredible.
Yet she's not credited.
Now, what's interesting is I didn't know this. A lot of folks didn't know this. And this story in particular from Decider.com has been making the rounds on Facebook and on Twitter and everything. And a lot of folks are surprised about it. But then you have another faction of folks who are just kind of like, oh, I knew. Like, all right, that's great.
Good for you.
You
go.
I mean, that's the thing. You find something new out. You get a new piece of information. It's not time to rub it in, to somebody who's just learning something for the first time. You want to give them a yes and. You got to practice that improv thing. You give them a yes and. You're like, oh, you like Buffy? Well, guess what else Dolly Parton did? She starred in the beautiful movie 9 to 5. Oh, what else she did? She's the godmother of Miley Cyrus. It's just like,
Yeah, Dolly Parton rules.
She does. She does. She's talented.
And her music is phenomenal. Like, even if you're not super into country, you can enjoy her music.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
Yeah. So that's our Dolly Parton corner.
Pardon the interruption.
Pardon our dust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're just going to make that a part of every episode now.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, so that's the name of the episode.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So I guess this is this is gonna be a shorter episode, but I guess we can kind of get into the wall of weird.
Let's get into that wall of weird. So
wait, this is a longer episode because the second half of this is over on our Patreon, guys. So
that's right.
Patreon weeks, you're gonna basically have to, help us out with the show to get that second half of the episode.
We had a good long conversation over there for the mini-sode. The not-so-mini-sode, so go check it out. It's great.
Okay.
All right. So,
I don't remember getting either of these. Did you bring both of these?
Yeah, I bought both of these to the table. So
I don't know what this
is. I'm going to start with the second one, but I'm not going to read the headline because I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Now, this is one of those wall of weird stories from modern times, based on what we're all going through right now. But this one takes place in Kentucky.
Is it based on true events?
It's based on true events. The name's changed to protect the innocent.
Okay.
No, they haven't. Actually, that's the whole story. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear went full dad mode during his Monday night news conference, calling out the bad apples who filed for unemployment under fake names during the coronavirus pandemic. We had somebody apply for unemployment for Tupac Shakur here in Kentucky. I said it like a Kentuckian would. Shakur. Bashar said, likely thinking of the rapper who died in the 90s. And that person may have thought they were being funny. They probably did. Except for the fact that because of them, we had to go through so many other claims. One problem, Tupac Shakur does live in Kentucky. And he's waiting on his unemployment benefits. Tupac Malik Shakur, 46, goes by Malik. He lives in Lexington and worked as a cook in Alfalfa's and Linga's in Lexington before they closed to help stop the spread of COVID-19.
Oh my God.
So yeah, Tupac Shakur, alive and well in Kentucky.
So basically this governor became a fucking racist and was like, you know what? Stop giving us fake names.
Right.
And then people were like, hey buddy, hey Andy, do you write your name on your shoe, Andy? Guess what? Some black people have different names, and that's okay. Fuck you, Andy. Fuck you.
Now, I'll be honest. I would have paused as well if I saw Tupac
I mean,
Shakur.
I would have too, but look into it a little bit more before you use it as an example.
I would have done a little bit of research,
How widespread do you actually think it is to put fake names into an unemployment site? That's such a waste.
It's a waste of time. People
Who
are like,
does that? Teenagers don't do that shit.
people are in desperate need of these checks. No one's going to be fucking around putting Mickey Mouse on there or something. Apologies to anybody named Mickey Mouse, by the way. I sincerely apologize.
My name is Mick Mouse.
My name is Mickey Mouse. I don't know why he has that accent, but he's a new character on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so shout out to Tupac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully,
poor guy.
Yeah, get called out by the Kentucky governor. I think the bigger story here is
also there are people that name their kids fucking Leaf and shit. Like they're weird names. So
there are people
I should
that
clarify. That's not just like, oh look, a black person named their kid Tupac. Like, okay, Apple. Like, fuck you. Like, people have weird names. They have names, they're named after people. Like, Elvis is a weird name in today's standards.
Yeah.
But there are, like, people out there naming their kids Elvis and stuff like that. So, like, just, if someone named their kid Elvis, like, don't assume that it's a fake name. Look into it.
Yeah. Do your due diligence there. But it's a government official. I wouldn't really count on that happening. One of the most unique names I've ever heard. I worked with a girl at Nationwide Video when I was in college, and her name was Renaissance. And I thought it was beautiful. It was a beautiful name. Yeah. And I also encountered a young lady named Calliope once upon a time.
Oh, that is a beautiful name.
Right?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It feels good to say,
Yeah,
but,
that's really cool. I like that name.
Stop name shaming Kentucky. Don't do that.
I mean, yeah, like, name shame, like, Gwyneth Paltrow's kid, Apple, but beyond that, and blame the parent. Don't blame the kid.
Yeah. And find out why you got so many dudes named Colonel Sanders. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, whole lot of them. Anywho. So that's story number one.
They're trying to get those checks.
Trying to get them checks, Story number 2.
All right.
Also, ripped from the headlines during these modern times. This one comes from NPR.org. That's a pretty reputable site, I guess. Police in Maryland town. Please remember to wear pants when checking the mail.
No. Continue.
Denied.
Absolutely not.
The days are starting to blur. The novelty of Zoom meetings is indeed starting to wane. So it's understandable that things may be getting hazy. And some of us are getting lazy. So much so that Northern Maryland's Taneytown Police Department had to post this reminder. Please remember to put pants on before leaving the house to check your mailbox. You know who you are. This is your final warning.
Oh my God.
So
I want to know: are they in like boxers? Are they naked? Like, what's happening here?
Going commando to pick up the mail, Going to receive a package. We don't want to see your package, bruh.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Is there any more details?
That was a quote from the town's mayor, Bradley Wantz.
Okay.
The post instantly caught attention online. It got more than 4,000 likes and was shared more than 10,000 times. Wantz goes on to say, right now, people have a hard enough time remembering what day of the week it is, with the stay-at-home orders, that I can't expect them to remember their pants when they go get the mail. Taneytown has a population of around 7,000 and rests near Pennsylvania's state border. And according to Mayor Wantz, like the rest of us, they too are adjusting to this new normal. Wantz says a lot of small businesses, and they're struggling right now, a number of people have been furloughed or laid off. So some economic issues are there, that we're constantly looking to address in some way, shape, or form. The news of a pantless mail retriever was a welcome distraction, but who was the culprit? Want says, the people who follow the page, especially the residents here, they got a good chuckle out of it. And, everyone being fun, accusing each other of, hey, was that you? Was this you? And the best part was, it's none of them. That's right. It was all a joke. Oh, fuck you. We were ahead. Fucking Mayor wants. I want a real story, Mayor.
Boo. I want this guy on lists.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be on the list, bud. You know what list I'm talking about.
Okay, so Want says...
You need to be registered, whoever you are. I know you're real.
I know you're real. Now, I'm not saying that there's not people that get their mail without pants on, but there was no one person that sparked it. Okay. All right. I think he's trying to defend... He's trying to defend the innocent. Next, it's going to be like, look, Floyd, put some pants on before you leave the house, okay? We're tired of it. We've seen it. We don't need to see it again.
Innocent. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Wallaweir.
Wallaweir.
Shoot. So, gaming-wise, it's interesting that I've encountered a lot of people who are gamers that I wouldn't normally associate with that. And I guess it's my own preconceived notions that are just kind of screwing with me a little bit. But my buddy Reggie, the world traveler, he and I and D got on and played a little bit of Overcooked the other day, and that was a ton of fun. But then he revealed to us that his mom plays as well.
Huh.
And his mom, super cool. I call her mom because I pretty much grew up over at his house anyway.
Yeah.
And I friended her on PSN. It was so weird. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And so every now and then she'll pop in and just like send a request to play Overcooked, and it's just so cool.
Awesome.
It's so cool. Yeah. And then you look at her game collection, it's like Tetris, Pac-Man,
Yeah, I feel like I'm probably not going to get a game until The Last of Us. Like, as much as I may want Animal Crossing or whatever, I think I'm just going to end up, that's probably going to be the next game I play. Because now they are releasing it.
Yeah, that's news too, actually. When some disgruntled ex-employee of Naughty Dog, who has yet to be identified, released a lot of footage from the alpha version of the game. I believe.
I was shocked when you sent me that message, because I woke up to that, where you said they leaked it. You need to block as much of it as you can on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
So
because I know this is something that you have been looking forward to for so long, and I didn't want you to just walk into that blind. I've played that game more than any other. I've played it 3 times all the way through, which for me is insane. That's a lot of hours put into it, but it's a great game, It's my favorite game of all time, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't want to rob you of that. I wanted you to have that, surprise when you play it for the first time. I played it through once on the PS3. And then when they came out the remaster initially, I played it through then, and then I just replayed it a couple months back. Oh yeah, well we did our favorite games list. Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of it was released. A lot of people are of course complaining about it, saying, "Oh, it's not good" and all that stuff. But what I think people are neglecting to realize is that a lot of the story in the Naughty Dog games are told while you're running around in the game itself. So yeah, there are cutscenes. They do a lot of that, but there's also just conversations between characters while you're like running between fights, and that does a lot to build the world. Yeah, I have no interest in learning anything about it without playing it. That's right. No, I don't understand that. It sucks that people do that. Yeah. And then spread it and everything like that. Hopefully I don't end up seeing it, but given my luck, I probably will. Well, you got to do your best, but thankfully, I'm still gonna play it. Yeah, so am I, and thankfully, I hate to congratulate the leaker. I hate to give them any credit, but that very same day, Naughty Dog announced that the game was going to be released on June 19th. Finally, before it was just TBD. So now we have. No, it was June, wasn't it? And then they took that release date off when the coronavirus stuff hit, and then they put it back. Was that it? I'm pretty sure. Okay. I don't want to Google it because I don't want to look up. Right. I don't know anything. But I'm pretty sure that was the initial release date, and they pulled it
because of this coronavirus issue, they said like, oh, we need more time because of all this hitting. And that now they like after that happened, they're like, we're gonna put it out. I don't know.
Yeah. So normally I don't care about game spoilers, but something like this, something that's been in the works for so long, something that's so heavily story driven, I want to be surprised. I want to be. Yeah, I want to see it for the first time, just like everybody else, just like I did with Red Dead, just like God of War, which no one has spoiled for me, even though I haven't finished it yet. Yeah, that's probably something I should get back to as well, I guess.
Yeah, this is definitely a game that like spoilers are going to be there. You're going to have to play it through pretty quickly.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still looking forward to a shout out to Naughty Dog. That team working hard.
Yeah,
even
that really
off-site.
sucks for them.
Yeah, it really does. But hopefully the game launches successfully. People get to enjoy it who want to enjoy it. And for those that don't care, we don't need to know you don't care. We get it.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care that you don't care.
I don't care that you don't care. Fuck you.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. So
I ain't got time for your bullshit.
Oh, comics are coming out again. I saw that.
Yeah, that's
today.
crazy. Like in May?
This today, actually, we're recording this on Tuesday. DC shipped books out to various comic shops. Now, of course, the stay-at-home order or strong suggestion or just disapproval, depending on where you live. That's still in order right now. So a lot of comic shops can't even really open their doors as they normally would. However, they're doing curbside pickup at a lot of the shops in Chicago. Okay. So you could still get your comic fix. I know that Challengers Comics has a complete online portal now if you're thinking about ordering some books. Same goes for Third Coast. There, you just message Terry basically and let him know what you want. He'll find a way to get it to you.
Cool.
It's like less nerdy drug deals now, basically.
I love it. It's awesome. Support local, guys. Yeah. They need us. So, do it if you can. If you can't, that's okay,
Don't feel bad about it. If you can't, you can't.
Yeah, if you can't, then, maybe go do something for free for them. Share their page. Give them a rating. Something like that.
Yeah.
Those things you can do for free. You can still support local in different ways if you can't do it financially. Exactly.
Anybody who calls you a cheapskate during this time is an asshole. Don't listen to them. Yeah. It's
don't. You do what you gotta do.
Exactly. We're all just trying to stay alive.
Yeah. Yeah. It is tough to stay alive, bud. Why is this so difficult?
I know.
I feel like it shouldn't be this difficult.
It really, it isn't. But 2020's just got it out for you. I don't know, man. I saw
2020 wants me dead for sure. Me specifically.
You specifically. Yeah. I saw a funny tweet before we started recording. There was a news story that they found some mummies buried in Luxor. And somebody replied to it like, "No, bro, put them back. It's 2020."
Yeah,
you don't know what you're letting out.
Like we did something horrible.
Yeah,
and we're paying for it. Sometimes that's how life feels for me. I'm like, I'm paying for some horrible shit I did at some point in a past life or something.
Well, we all fucked up. I don't know what happened. Like everybody fucked up, and we're all paying now.
Yeah, we are paying the iron price right now. Fuck. Yeah.
There's an update. The last little bit of video game news that just kind of struck me as I'm looking over lovingly at my Switch. There was an update for Super Mario Maker 2 that came out that allows creators to make complete games of all the levels they've created now.
That's cool.
So you can have like Super Lex World, and put it out there for people to play through. And I've been sharing a couple of my playthroughs of various people's worlds lately.
Oh yeah, they stress me out.
Oh man, it is like white knuckling it the whole time. I love those speedrun levels though. They're so much fun. Just seeing how much like Rube Goldberg mechanics people put into them. I love it.
No, it is really cool.
Yeah, but it is very stressful.
Yeah, just to watch it is stressful.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else is relaxing on their islands on Animal Crossing. I'm like jumping over spike pits and shit.
I need more stress.
I don't get enough of my daily allotted stress now that I'm working from home. So I need to like find how to get it somewhere.
You're a junkie.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
I'm a thrill seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notorious thrill seeker.
All right, folks. I guess we're out of gas. We're going to go ahead and call it an episode. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Always.
Yeah.
Appreciates you.
Follow us on all the socials at Lex and Matt.
I guess you can follow our personal accounts too.
Like yours.
I'm the Lex Lutz on Twitter and Insta.
Yeah, and I'm Mighty Ink Matt, I think. Yeah.
Both those, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, this has been one. I'm Matt Peters.
I'm Lex Lutz.
Be excellent to each other.
Is it your turn to say things? Bye.
Thank you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Stay inside, even if your governor says that you can go on the beach, because they're stupid. Bye.